Hi, welcome to CastAndLoose Living Room. I'm Lynne Marie Rosenberg. I'm here today with Kyra Miller.
Hello.
Kyra is an actor, singer, writer, acting teacher, Alexander instructor, and former dancer, and recently added puppet maker to her list of titles as well. You might know her from her piece Bluebeard, which is what the puppet is from, which she recently wrote and performed at the Flea Theater, produced by the Muse Project. You might not know her from a production of The Tempest, wherein she wore a sparkly black hooded leotard and said nothing. As Kyra puts it, she looked like a dancing sperm, except since she wasn't really dancing, it was more like a sperm who moves well. We've all had that role too, right? Of just like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage.
Another place from which you might know Kyra is a recent American Theater article about being a parent and an actor, brilliantly titled Pack and Play. I thought that was like the best title of an article I'd ever seen. So I thought we would look today at some breakdowns for mothers.
Thank you.
And it turns out I have enough of these to do an entire show on motherhood, so that might be coming down the pike at some point.
Great, call me.
I will. Biology is, of course, a big part of being a mom. Your comfort with your own body may influence the work you choose.
Union, to portray post-pregnancy mom breastfeeding a baby. Sexy. Please indicate if you are comfortable breastfeeding your baby on camera. Indicate if you would be comfortable showing side boob or full boob on camera. I was kidding about sexy. There's actually nothing sexy about breastfeeding.
No.
Breasts are not only for sex, they're also for feeding your baby.
But also, it's worth noting that about 2 hours after this breakdown came out, and it was already on my Tumblr, they re-released it with side breast and full breast instead of boob.
Because that makes it better.
Because, I mean, it does a little bit make it better. At least someone was like, hey, by the way, we probably shouldn't have said boob. The age of your body will be of particular interest to content makers.
Mother, 40 to 65 years old, Caucasian female, a very well put together Jewish mother, in great shape for her age.
All they had to do was say in great shape. The age of 40 versus the age of 65 are very different worlds of one's life.
I hope.
Some writers might not quite get the math right.
Mom, 40 to 65 years old. All ethnicities, female. She has a turbulent relationship with her 35-year-old unemployed live-in son, whom she coddles.
I would feel turbulent if I had a son at 5 years old as well.
No, that's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
Hard enough when you're, 40.
Very illegal and very challenging. Less important is your intellectual function.
House mom.
Wait, it's like a house elf. That's a thing.
Our house mom is an adventurous lady. Not my house mom. Our house mom is an adventurous lady that finds herself in situations that are over her head quite often. She is gullible, and her kids take advantage of her on a regular basis. She is also very joyous and a treat to be around.
Just a treat.
Oh, God.
But some moms can even have jobs.
Mom, 25 to 40 years old. Oh, well, I'm too old.
You're done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't have a job. Not this job. Mom, 25 to 40 years old. She should look comfortable using the jackhammer.
There's only one.
It's a capital J, too. So we assume she's a construction worker until the misdirect when we realize that she's a mom. Whenever I used to try to self-submit for things at my agents, I would be told that I couldn't go in for working class things.
Really?
Yeah, I read bougie.
I read working class apparently, but I am quite bougie. But now I want to write a role for you that's like super working class, just to be like,
would you?
Screw you, industry. But the most common theme I have seen for moms in the industry is, unfortunately, to serve their husbands and their children, even to the point of harm.
What kind of harm?
We'll find out.
Mom, 38 to 40, a proper Southern belle, who is making peace with the fact that her only purpose in life is to tend to her husband.
I do declare.
Mother, female, 40s, Alex's mom, quiet and meek. She often seems to only serve as her husband's echo, small, supporting. Oh, like a bra.
Yeah, she's a small size A. Supporting
between an
role.
A and a B.
Somewhere between an A and a B.
Mother, early, late 30s. Submissive and passive, silent role in an abusive relationship.
That's it. Submissive, passive, dumb, boob.
Small supporting.
Small supporting. Honestly, I found so many of these. I mean, it
Yeah.
went on and on and on.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk a little bit about this article because you actually had a very good experience with rags.
I did. The theater was amazing. The theater was amazing. Moms, if you ever get hired by TheaterWorks Silicon Valley, that's a good theater to work at. They were, first they offered me the job. They knew that I was a parent, or I thought they knew that I was a parent, and they offered me like standard, it was a favored nations contract. Everybody was making the same. Had a long talk with my husband. It was the first role that I'd gotten in a very long time, and I was really right for it. And we couldn't do it. Like, we couldn't make it work. So I said no, which I've never said before, ever. And then, and I wrote this very heartfelt email to them, and I got a letter back via my agent saying, okay, here's what we can do for Kyra. And they gave me a weekly babysitting budget. They gave me a bigger apartment. They bought a car seat for me. They found a crib. They found a high chair, borrowed from people in the office. They gave me the classroom that they use for, when school kids come through the theater. They gave me an office to nurse in. Like, the stage manager would just give me a few extra minutes to nurse on our dinner break, which sounds like, well, according to equity rules, you just don't do that. But just a little tiny bit of flexibility made it workable.
And something that I was really intrigued by in the article was not only your experience, but then they took that to say, this worked out well, let's collect these things, let's start a closet essentially so that we can be working with more mothers.
So we left our pack and play in California. We donated a potty, we donated the tub insert that we'd bought a couple of things ourselves there, and we just left it there in this closet. And they put they had bought bars for the bed for when my 4-year-old came, and everything just went into a storage closet. And my hope is that moms have continued to use that stuff.
Yeah.
My children were tiny when I did this. So this is already a year and a half ago. My baby was 8 months at the time. So I was still nursing. So there was no thought that I would be able to be apart from her for the length of a regional theater gig. But I also had to keep frozen milk in the fridge. They were just great with me. I was pumping in the dressing room. Nobody complained. Everybody was just very family forward, and it made a huge difference to me.
What's frustrating to me about this entire conversation is why is this a surprise?
Well, part of it was a surprise to me because I had never done it before.
Sure.
And I had never seen it before.
Right. And that's what I'm getting at. It's when you think about all the regional theaters in the United States, all of the human beings who have babies in the United States, many of whom are also actors, that this is even an interesting point of discussion. But of course it is because so little support is there as artists for parenthood.
Yeah, there is very little support. And given a choice, from a financial point of view, I sort of understand it, right? The theater's budget had to expand to hire me to do this role. And I was actually really shocked that they couldn't find a Jewess who could sing this part, and act this part, who didn't have a child. I just sort of assumed that was who they would hire. Maybe that's starting to change. Or maybe that was a misperception on my part. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't met a whole lot of nursing moms in the theater.
Yeah.
But there also aren't a tremendous amount of roles. Given all the roles in a given slice of time, not that many of them are going to be for women in their 30s and 40s. So that's a small number of roles anyway. I don't know about the statistics really, but you see more roles for women who are younger and more roles for women who are older. And right smack in the childbearing years, there's not,
Yeah. It's an interesting conjecture in terms of why that is and
yeah, maybe mothers just aren't that dramatic.
Well, speaking of motherhood and children, you have to go get a burrito for your children.
I have to order burritos for mine.
Kyra's going to go get some burritos for her kids. Yep. I'm going to continue to be a single lady who lives alone. And
live alone and like it, Lynne.
Live alone and like it.
Don't come down from that tree.
Oh, no. I like it here. Believe me. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching. Take care of each other and be professional.
Oh, bye.